Hey guys, welcome to the Ford booth for another SEMA exclusive behind the scenes, and I've got a really interesting vehicle behind me. Now, to you that may look like another Mustang, and you know, Mustangs are a dime a dozen here, right? They're everywhere, but not that one, because that one is all electric. Yep, 100 horsepower, nope, 1,000 horsepower, and 1,000 pound-foot of torque. And this is Josh Lupa from Webasto, who basically built this. Now, you guys probably don't know who Webasto is, but if you ever had a convertible, Mustang convertible, you guys built it.
We did.
And pretty much think of any convertible out there, and Webasto builds it. Now, you guys are getting into battery technology.
Right.
So let's talk about this crazy Mustang, because not only is it electric, but it's got a 6-speed, which is crazy. Why do you need a 6-speed? Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So talk to you about the batteries, and let's go look at the batteries, then we'll come back and look at the Mustang.
Okay, so here we have the front battery pack. We have 1/3 of the batteries in where the motor used to be, right? We replaced the motor with this electric motor, made it to a 6-speed manual transmission, and then we drive it through the regular powertrain, the factory powertrain. Now, obviously those components have been beefed up to handle all that torque, but same location as the factory components. And then we have a pack similar to this, not this exact pack, but a pack similar to this over the rear axle to distribute the weight more evenly throughout the car.
So, do you heat and cool the battery pack, right? That's one of the things. Yeah.
We thermal management, heat and cool, because the batteries perform better at certain temperatures. We want to make sure they stay in their safe operating range.
And how many kilowatt hours is this battery?
It's a 75 kilowatt hour battery.
So just to keep in perspective, a Tesla has 100 kilowatt hour, an e-tron has a little bit less than that. But you guys have not announced range.
Right.
But figure it's going to be somewhere in the 150 to 250 range. Depends how good your software is.
When we have phenomenal software, and we're looking forward to some real world testing to get that.
All right, well, let's look at the reason we're here. Let's look at the Mustang. So you guys built this, well, not from ground up, but in a way it's harder to take an electric power plant and retrofit it into an existing car, right?
It is, yeah, because this was built for a gasoline engine, so you have space where the fuel tank was,
yep.
You have space where the exhaust was, but you don't have that flat floor like you would a vehicle that was built to have batteries at the lower center of gravity. So what we've done is we've spent a lot of time packaging. We built this car 3 times digitally in CAD before we ever tore it apart, because you have to have the batteries where they need to be, and we wanted to maximize that power, but also weight, so we didn't have a car that was too heavy.
So first question, why'd you keep the 6-speed manual? You don't need it, right?
You don't need it, no. You could drive with right, most cars, electric cars have an automatic transmission or no transmission, but we wanted a car that you could drive and feel and still have that driver to vehicle interface and shift like you would your Mustang in your garage.
So can you drive it in, say, 3rd gear and not touch the transmission?
Exactly. Put it in 3rd gear, drive it like any other electric vehicle. You have more than enough torque than you'll ever need, or you can bang gears like you want to in your own Mustang.
All right, so I gotta ask, 1,000 pound-foot of torque will roast those rear tires.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's still rear wheel drive. Yeah. It will roast them, but we have 3 drive modes. We have Valet, we have Sport, Track, and then we have Beast mode. And Beast mode is the full 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Have you driven it?
I have. And
what's it drive like?
It drives phenomenally. It's a lot of power, and you don't even miss the sound at first. You're so focused, and you can't believe that you're driving a Mustang that's electric with a manual transmission, and it just feels incredible.
Well, let's look back here, because I think what's missing are the exhaust pipes, right?
That's right.
There's no exhaust pipes on this thing whatsoever.
So yeah, we have a carbon fiber, nicely tasteful, so that there's always an urge at SEMA to go just wild through everything.
Over the top.
Over the top. And we intentionally wanted to refrain from that and do something that was tasteful, stylish, still followed a lot of the body lines, right? We wanted to complement what already was done. Ford has done an incredible job with the Mustang and their performance parts, and so we wanted something tasteful.
And how much did you slam it? Because there's not a lot of room between.
There's not a lot. No. And it has, in our opinion, the perfect stance. So we have Ford Performance track handling kit. So there's springs, sway bars, strut tower brace, Ford Performance GT 350R brakes. And looking at the Ford Performance catalog, a lot of the stuff you put on a Mustang, a gasoline Mustang, we put on this because we kept a traditional powertrain.
Now, one of the things that, of course, electric cars do is they regen power. Do you have regen in this?
We do, yeah. We have regen, and via the touchscreen, you can change how harsh or how much regen you want.
So you can go full-on regen where you basically don't need to touch the brake.
Right, yeah.
To kind of almost like you're coasting.
Almost like you're coasting, yep.
In an internal combustion engine.
We really wanted the driver to have complete control between the manual transmission, the regen, and the feel of the vehicle.
Now, the thing our viewers are going to be most interested in. It's, of course, 0 to 60 times,
Yep.
quarter mile times. Any of those numbers out there yet?
Nope, not yet intentionally though, because at Webasto, when we engineer and R&D something, we engineer it to find the failure mode, right? That's the best thing. You got to know what's wrong with the part or where the potential failures are to design it correctly. So this was an exercise in getting this to a state where we know it performs phenomenally, getting it ready to unveil, to show, and then we'll go back and we'll do some track testing.
So what happens with the next? I mean, does Ford go out and build these, or do you guys take it on the show circuit?
This is, show circuit, independent of Ford, a project vehicle, an exercise in pushing the limits of performance.
All right. And if you were to sell it, how much do you think this would cost?
This would be a pretty expensive car, yes.
I bet.
One-off prototypes are usually pretty steep, yeah.
Now, electric cars are certainly becoming much more popular. Does Webasto see the electric drivetrain, the battery, as the future? Is that why you're getting into the development of these kinds of cars and powertrains?
Exactly. As the infrastructure grows with charging infrastructure, as the cost of batteries comes down, we see that trend growing, and that's our strategy, is to manufacture batteries, thermal management systems, charging systems, so we're a full service provider.
For the OEMs.
For the OEMs.
And why did you pick a Mustang? Because it would seem like 1,000 horsepower would be very hard to get down to the ground with only rear-wheel drive. Did you do the weight distribution in some interesting way to make that?
We did, yeah. By putting 1/3 of the batteries under the hood and the rest over the rear axle, we're at a near 50-50 weight distribution.
So should be good on the track.
Should be good. It hooks and it goes.
Yeah. And what's your favorite part of driving it?
The sound, believe it or not,
there's no sound.
There's no sound, but you hear the electric motor and you feel it. You can feel the motor while you're sitting there, and you can feel it shift. So you get that Mustang feel.
And when you drive it, do you put it in third and just floor it, or do you?
No, you got to use the gears. Yeah.
And do you have a clutch, or do you just go from first to second? How does that work?
Yeah, you use the clutch and you feel it, and you can pedal it, and you can use as much or as little clutch as you want, but it's that same feel.
All right. Now the one thing I have to ask, and this is the last question, is when can I get drive it? Please. When is that available for me?
We'll see. What's your insurance policy?
It's like a $2 million umbrella. Is that enough, or is that not enough?
That might cover it, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, there you have it, guys. Another cool car from SEMA. This time it's an electric Mustang. You know that there's a Mach-E coming.
I've heard that.
And so you're seeing kind of this convergence of technology, and you're seeing companies like Webasto now get into electric powertrains. And I think that signals that electricity is, ready for prime time. So it's cool to see something that has been traditionally, and I know a lot of you guys out there who are petrol heads will think of this as sacrilege, but I think it's exciting. As always, this is Roman.
Josh Lupu.
Saying thanks for watching. Remember, check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, very loud SEMA all-electric Mustang reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.